I'm waiting for the streaming to start.
Yep. I can see it on YouTube though.
Okay. Great.
I can see the moving logo.
Good morning. At this time, I would like to call the Monday, March 30th, 2020 board meeting to order, and we will have our board secretary take roll call.
Good morning, Commissioners. Commissioner Brewer,
Here.
Commissioner Chico,
Here.
Commissioner Harris,
Here.
Commissioner Hart,
Here.
Commissioner Matanki,
Here.
Commissioner Parker,
Here.
Commissioner Tanukas, Commissioner Washington,
Here.
Commissioner Hurlock.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you all for joining us today via our live stream video broadcast to protect the public's health in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and as permitted by Governor Pritzker's Executive Order 2020-07 and 2020-10, 5 commissioners are participating in today's meeting telephonically. Also, during the period that both executive orders remain in effect, the emergency meeting guidelines supersede CHA's public participation guidelines. Accordingly, I would like to present a motion pursuant to Executive Order 2020-7 and 2020-10 to hold the March 30th meeting with commissioners participating remotely and no more than 10 persons in attendance in this boardroom. May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals? Hearing none, the motion carries. We will proceed with today's meeting in compliance with Executive Order 2020-7 and 2020-10. We will now have our centering thoughts by Commissioner Dr. Mildred Harris.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Well, yes, my centering thought is on the coronavirus pandemic. For everything you may have thought was secure is either being removed, replaced, revisited because of the coronavirus. You may have asked yourself this question: what am I to do? What does the future hold for me with all of these changes taking place around me? First, I want to say you want to be a law-abiding citizen and follow and exercise the shelter-in-place order, which became effective at 5 p.m. on Saturday, March 21st, as this was given for the residents of the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, and was given by the Chicago Department of Public Health. My advice, and what it says, requirements. All residents are required to stay at home unless engaging in essential activities, such as going to the doctor, grocery store, pharmacy. The shelter-in-place order prohibits participation in social activities at bars or nightclubs or taking unnecessary trips. In-shelter-place mandates social distancing, which the science proves can prevent the spread of this virus. And the shelter-in-place order defines social distancing requirements as maintaining at least 6 feet away from others, with regular hand washing, covering coughs and sneezes, not shaking hands, and the cleaning and disinfecting of high-touch areas. Now, my advice to you is to keep the faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Be strong, be kind, be compassionate, and considerate of others. And now for your information, spiritually, I'm likened to a gatekeeper, and I'm committed to pray for the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, the nation, and the world during this crisis. Won't you join me? For you see, there is power in corporate prayer. And yes, prayer changes things. For the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And I believe that this virus shall pass away. So keep the faith, pray, stay safe and well. So thank you so much for listening, and this concludes my centering thought for today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris, for those inspirational words. I want to take a few minutes to share with you some updates on how CHA is responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. I first want to reiterate that the health and safety of our residents, as well as our staff, are CHA's highest priorities, and that we are working closely with the city and continuing to offer vital information support, and resources to CHA residents as well as our staff. As an essential government entity, we must continue to operate and provide all essential services to CHA families and seniors. While our offices are closed to the public, most staff are teleworking to ensure that these services are being provided to residents, voucher households, and applicants via email, regular mail, and phone. We have made it a point to communicate often with residents and to provide them with information they need to protect themselves from COVID-19. This includes direct communications and signage reminding residents to take precautions against the virus. We have translated this information into 13 languages representing the diverse populations that we serve. CHA has prioritized communication to its senior population by given their vulnerability, and we have increased engagement with our seniors and increased assessment of the home-based services that we provide, such as the meal service. We are keeping in touch with voucher households through email blasts, email communications, and messages on the call center line. We are also mindful of the need of communication with staff. We have ongoing communications to staff on a variety of COVID-19 related topics and are providing important updates and notices from the city and health department. Let me take this time to also remind you of the precautions each of us needs to take to protect ourselves. The best way to protect yourself and others is to wash your hands frequently. Stay at home if you are sick, unless going to a doctor, and do not attend any group gatherings. At this point in time, I'd just like to take a few minutes to overview the activities that were completed in January and February. To better familiarize myself with the operations of CHA, I've attended divisional meetings with CHA property staff meeting. I intended to attend more of these divisional meetings once we're back to normal operations. I also convened 2 additional Section 3 JOC meetings, one at the FIC and the other was at the CHA corporate offices. I attended a property tour of the Excess Tennis Facility. I conducted several meetings with commissioners to discuss board governance and audit matters. I had the pleasure of meeting with our mayor, Mayor Lightfoot. One of the matters discussed included the vetting of our new CEO that will be voted on later in this agenda. And Ms. Scott will also be joining the meeting via teleconference later in this very meeting. I also facilitated meetings between commissioners and the new CEO, attended the Neighborhood Housing Services 45th Annual Awards Dinner, and I had the pleasure at that event of meeting 2 of our own CHA homeowners that were invited to the attended event as my personal guests. I would like to conclude my report by quoting what Mayor Lightfoot said last week in one of her speeches. This is not like any other day. We need to make every effort to stay home and stay safe. We are in this together, and your continued cooperation and support during this unprecedented time is more important to us than ever. Since members of the public are unable to attend today's meeting in person, the public was invited to submit questions or comments online. There's only been one comment that was received online and will be read aloud after the staff's presentation of the board items. Now we will move on to the presentation of resolutions for items 1 through 14. Items 1 and 2 will be presented by Jennifer Hoyle, Deputy Chief of Strategic Management and Partnerships. Item 1 reads as follows. Recommendations to approve and submit to HUD the FY 2019 MTW Annual Report.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The annual report is one of the 2 documents, along with the annual plan, that CHA is required to submit to HUD as part of our participation in the Moving to Work program. The purpose of the report is to demonstrate our compliance with the statutory objectives of the MTW program and to provide HUD with year-end information on CHA's operations, including unit delivery, housing stock, capital expenditures, as well as metrics for our 26 MTW activities. CHA continues to meet the goals and objectives of the MTW program by serving a very low-income population and serving the same number of households and family sizes as we would have served if we had not participated in the MTW program. I'm available to answer any questions that you have.
Do the commissioners have any additional questions for Ms. Hoyle? No?
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for including the package and list of all the housing where the new Section 8s are in. But even though you have the names on them, can you next time put addresses along with them?
Yes, we can do that.
Thank you, Commissioner Washington. Were there any additional comments or questions or requests? Hearing none, if commissioners do not have any additional questions or comments, we'll move right into item number 2, which is recommendation to execute amendment number 8 to the amended and restated moving to work agreement.
Thank you. Last month, HUD requested that all MTW agencies amend the standard MTW agreement to include additional language that would more clearly allow agencies the flexibility to bring inspection services in-house rather than using third-party inspection services. Certain agencies, although not CHA, had been doing this already based on language in the existing agreements. But the HUD Inspector General recently opined that the language they were relying on was not sufficient. So to resolve this situation, HUD proposed this amendment that should be executed by all agencies. So while CHA continues to use third-party inspection services and has no plans to change that at this time, this amendment would ensure that the standard MTW agreement remains uniform across agencies, as is HUD's preference, and that CHA continues to have the full flexibility provided by the MTW program.
Thank you. Were there additional questions from commissioners? And may I ask, commissioners, can you identify yourself prior to your question?
Sure. This is Commissioner Brewer. It sounds like this is more of a technical thing where HUD has come up with new language and we're adapting it, but don't necessarily have any immediate plans to change the way we're currently doing things.
Yes, that's correct. This is considered a technical amendment that all of the MTW agencies will probably be enacting.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Brewer. Also, Commissioner Parker had a question?
Yeah, my question is, although we're not adopting this item right now or moving in this direction, have we conducted any cost analysis just to see if this will actually save money?
I'm not aware that we've conducted a cost analysis. I would note that the agencies that have actually implemented this have tended to be smaller housing agencies, but I can certainly find out for you if we've done any analysis.
Could you? Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I also want to take a minute to acknowledge that Commissioner Bill Tanukas is now on the phone and has joined us, and that mistakenly earlier I referenced that there were 5 commissioners on the phone, and there are really only 3 commissioners on the phone. The rest are here in person. Parker's here.
And that's
4
4.
4 on the phone. Okay, thank you. So thank you, Jenny. We have no other further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go next on the agenda to item number 3, recommendation to approve the amended Chicago Housing Authority procurement policy. Michael Moran, our Chief Financial Officer, will present this item.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
I am requesting that the board adopt the amended CHA procurement policies and procedures. We are amending our policies and procedures due to changes in HUD's procurement standards. HUD has changed the micro purchase from $3,000 to $10,000, and they've changed the simplified acquisition threshold from $150,000 to $250,000. And we are making the amendments and changes to incorporate those HUD adjustments. Are there any questions?
I have a question. There's a provision in here in the new language to divide total requirements when economically feasible into smaller tasks or quantities. Do we have a guideline for what percentage increase in cost it might be to have it still be economically feasible?
We do not have any right now, and it's kind of on a case-by-case basis that we would be dealing with that.
I'd like to consider that we set some guidelines here, because I know that sometimes we have a better social economic reason to do something, and we might be willing to spend more of the agency's money, but we really should state that.
We will look into that and make those changes and let you know.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Matanke. Were there additional questions for Mike?
Yes.
Oh, Commissioner Washington?
On the first page, it says increase from 3,000 to 10,000, but then on the back page in the red was a proposed policies. What's the difference? I see going from 10,000 to 250,000, and from 250,000 to 500,000. The proposed policy.
So our current policy has 150,000 as the starting point for the simplified acquisition. That's being moved to 250. But we also still have that up to 500,000, the CEO can move that item forward. That does not change with this. So I'm not sure if that's your question.
It's saying, because I'm saying, I know it's saying current policy and proposed policy. If it didn't change, there should have been no proposed policy side.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to show is the change from 150 to 250, but you're right, that 500,000 that the CEO can approve does not change under either policy, the old or the new.
It's up to 5 after 500, then the board have to approve it.
Correct.
Were there any?
And
Commissioner
so
Parker has a question.
Right, and this just for the audience that we don't have, but the audience. I just wanted to know that although these thresholds amounts is being allowed, these projects still go through the normal bidding process as they would any other procured services that we.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, we still require bids and it goes through the normal process.
Okay, thanks.
Were there any additional questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Michael.
Actually, this is Commissioner Brewer, and this may not even be the best question for Michael, but just out of curiosity, given the last item and then this one, because it's not very common that we get items where HUD has changed its policies and we're passing some change in our own policies to conform. Did HUD recently go through some sort of policy making, or is it just a coincidence that we have two items in a row that relate to HUD policy changes where we're looking at our own?
I believe it's just a coincidence, and actually we have done these kinds of changes in other instances. And so for the procurement adjustments, I wouldn't say they're common, but they do happen on occasion.
Okay.
Were there any additional questions? Thank you, Commissioner Brewer. Okay. All right, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we're going to have item number 4, authorization to enter into a license, support, and maintenance agreement with eBuilder, Inc. for construction management software in the total amount of $1,109,295. Brian Land, who is the Chief Information Officer, will provide us with an overview of this item.
Good morning, Commissioners. The item before you is a recommendation to enter into a 3-year base agreement with 2 1-year options with eBuilder. We use the eBuilder platform to manage our capital construction activities. It's been in use for the past 5 years, and we're very happy with its performance.
Were there any questions?
Yes. Since we're using eBuilders to maintain our construction, is up to par when it comes to input and outputting data, and folks getting paid on time and putting the correct information in the correct columns. If everyone been trained on it, they use this process.
One of my colleagues, Matt Mosher, is the primary user, his department. They use it for budgeting, scheduling, invoice processing, document review, again, from the beginning to the end of the construction management activities. And so all of his staff and the contractors that work with that tool have been fully trained.
So that means that when I get the phone call, it's not that they don't have the it's just sitting on someone's desk. They haven't put the data in the system yet.
Well, that's a difficult one to answer right now. But again, it has the capability of letting you know where an item is from its inception all the way through the end. And so we would know where it is being held up, if any.
I'll remember this next time I get a phone call. I want to come down and see the process.
Okay.
Madam Chair, is this this software then will enable us to go away from the current system with Gordian?
Can you repeat that?
Is this software will then now or in the future?
This is the current software.
Is this
This is eBuilder.
Okay.
Okay, I have I have my answer.
At a high level, we continue to use it to its fullest as opportunities present themselves.
Thank you.
Do we have any other further questions from other commissioners?
Yes, Harris here. I just want to ask here, the board delegates authority to the acting chief executive officer or appointed chief executive officer. It says to use his or her discretion to exercise the option terms. Just in case, okay, I'm being a devil's advocate, either this person, the acting chief executive officer or an appointed executive officer, would not be available, what would be the case then? Who would be able to exercise these option terms?
Well, I believe if the CEO is not available, I'll bring it back to this body.
So,
The body being the board.
That's correct.
so Commissioner, we have a delegated document between the CEO and various officers who can act in the CEO's absence under the appropriate circumstances.
And I'm assuming also under the direction of the board.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Did that answer your question, Commissioner Harris?
Just wanted to know.
Okay. Commissioner Parker had a question?
So Mike, I'm sorry, Brian, this software, is it expandable? Like, say we wanted to use it for something else in the future, will we have to re-procure another contract, or will we be able to go in and expand off of?
Well, that's one of the reasons we selected the software. It is very flexible, it's very scalable, but we use the process what we configure it. So it'll be configured based on the process needs at that time.
Thank you.
We reconfigured it or the contractors configure it.
That's kind of both.
I know
We do the parts that we can do, or we may bring on their assistance as needed.
but now we had a system at the CAC, and as needed to add columns, we was able to go in there and put whatever we needed without paying extra dollars to the contractor.
Well, it really depends on the needs of the change. Our staff, Matt's staff, has become very knowledgeable in it. They do a significant amount of changes themselves. But again, if it's something beyond their expertise, we'll bring in the vendor to assist.
Okay.
All right. If there are no further questions, thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Items 5 and 6 will now be presented by Pat Rios, Chief Administrative Officer. Item number 5 reads, recommendation to purchase insurance coverage for the CHA's Property Managers Insurance Program for an aggregate not to exceed amount of $1,303,964. Pat.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. The Property Management Insurance Company, also called the PMIP, consists of 3 layers, a $2 million layer followed by 2 $10 million layers. With the incumbent insurance exiting the habitational market, our broker reached out to over 60 insurance providers, including London and Bermuda markets, in an attempt to place coverage. Due to the number of declinations that we receive, we've changed the structure of the PMIP. We will self-insure for the first $2 million using Zurich as a fronting insurer. The cost of the premium will be $114,000 plus $400,000 in collateral. Premium cost for the first $10 million will be $629,964, and the premium cost for the second $10 million layer in coverage will be $160,000. Total premium for all coverages will be $903,964 plus $400,000 in collateral. We will retain our deductible of $250,000. Overall, premium only has increased approximately 1%. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, were there any additional questions?
No, I see that it's been changes that went down since the last amount.
Yes.
Hope they're reputable.
Yes.
Okay, seeing that there are no further questions about this item, we'll move on to item number 6, recommendations to approve CHA's amended ethics policy.
Commissioners, we are requesting approval of a revised ethics policies. With the insourcing of the role of the ethics officer, there was a change in the reporting structure from the chief legal officer to human resources. We have eliminated duplicate language regarding bullying prohibition, which is included in our employee handbook. We've clarified the duty to also report to also include violations of CHA policies, and we have clarified approval levels for outside employment. And lastly, we've changed the reporting of gifts to the ethics officer. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any additional questions about the amended ethics policy?
Yeah, you said.
Commissioner Parker?
You said that the ethics officers that we outsourced in the past will just moving in-house to human resources or to our legal department?
To human resources. So the individual is reporting directly to me.
So you'll refer to legal if necessary, because I'm
Yes.
confused with.
Yes, we work in conjunction with legal when necessary.
So have we begun to train staff on new policies, or is that
Yes.
relevant?
No, we have annual training on the ethics policy. So we will, once this is approved, be rolling out a training.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, question,
And this is,
Washington.
oh, go ahead.
Since we are renting space, they are contracted, right?
I'm sorry?
They are contracted, the ethics policy officer.
No, it's now
No.
in-house.
It's
We
now
now have an in-house
On staff.
ethics policy on staff.
Yes.
I think that's a better solution for us to have someone closer to
I'll
us
wait and see.
consistently.
I'll
Yeah,
have to wait
so-
and see.
We've looked at all the other agencies, and that is the model that all the other, our sister agencies have, is insourced versus outsourced.
It's okay as long as they remain neutral.
Yes.
We had a commissioner on the phone, I believe it was Brewer, that had a question?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my question is, how do we envision the interplay between the ethics officer and internal audit and then Alyssa?
So it is a separate function, definitely from internal audit, unless there is something that would fall into the purview of the Inspector General, then obviously he would work in conjunction with the Inspector General.
So there are at least clear lines of communication that if something needs to be referred, that can happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And then, thank you, Commissioner Brewer. Then we have Commissioner Parker.
Yeah, that's okay, thank you.
You sure? Okay.
Well, I had one question.
Madam Chair?
So when you think of ethics, ethics do supersede all other departments when something is wrong,
Yes.
okay?
All right, so Commissioner Washington, thank you. Commissioner Parker, you had a comment?
Right, so did this require additional hiring? So we hired a new legal,
Yes, ethics officer was hired in January.
okay. And what kind of background?
He came from BP, and so he was their ethics officer. He also is an attorney, so he has a legal background.
That's what I wanted to know, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Parker. If there aren't any additional questions about the amended ethics policy,
Yeah, I'll have a question.
okay,
Just-
Dr. Harris?
Joseph, give me a little bit understanding about the number P. Gift means anything of value given without fair market value consideration. Just
Yes, so what it means is a gift over $50. But
$50.
for the procurement department, it means any type of gift.
Over $50.
No, they're precluded from receiving any type of gift. The procurement department is.
So Pat's response was a gift of $50 for the general public. However, anyone in the procurement office, it's a gift of any value,
Right. They're precluded from receiving
any type of gift.
Correct.
Only those particular staff people that are in the procurement office.
Correct.
May I ask a question? You feel more comfortable having this function in-house as opposed to hiring a third party?
Yes, and for a couple reasons. The individual in-house, right, has more familiarity with the inner workings of the departments and the relationships between individuals. I think by having someone on site, employees feel comfortable reaching out, and the response is probably quicker, and the follow-up also.
Do we have a hotline or
Yes, we have a
something
hotline.
anonymous?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any additional questions?
Yeah, so does those ethics apply to the board as well?
Yes,
Okay. So the board
yes. We'll
issues
also
will come
receive,
through the
yes,
human resources? I don't
or through the
understand that.
ethics officer, through the
Huh?
ethics through
Oh.
the ethics officer, yes.
Okay.
I said, then he'll refer it out to wherever it needs to go, because I'm not employed here, so why would my stuff come through human, or the ethics officer is just housed in human resources?
Correct.
Okay, I get it.
Okay. All right. So if there aren't any further questions, thank you, Pat.
All right, thank you.
Okay. We'll have Mike Rigoni, Chief Investment Officer, come up next. He will be presenting items 7 and 8. Item number 7 is the recommendation to award contracts for financial advisory and consulting services. Recommended awardees include Crow LLP for an aggregate not to exceed the amount of $256,750. Tag Associates, Inc., for an aggregate not to exceed amount of $208,400, and DuVernay and Brooks, LLC, for an aggregate not to exceed amount of $97,500. Michael?
Good morning, Commissioners. We are seeking approval to enter into those 2-year base term contracts and 3-year one options with the following, with the 3 firms that you have just mentioned, with not to exceed $98,500 for Crow, $80,400 for Tag Associates, and DuVernay and Brooks, but not to exceed for $39,000. These firms will be utilized to perform independent third-party professional services, which require specialized technical, financial, and advisory capabilities. Specifically, certain financial audits, market and/or business valuations, and feasibility studies would be examples of these types of engagements. These contracts will be task ordered on an as-needed basis only for CHA strategic efforts or initiatives. There are no service or payment guarantees. Do we have any questions?
Were there any questions by the commissioners?
No, I just love the has needed.
Okay. If there aren't further questions, Mike, can you proceed with presentation for item number 8, recommendation to negotiate a purchase and sales agreement with a partnership between Center Court Development LLC and Chicago Housing Consultant Services, Inc. for specific vacant Robert Taylor land.
Yes, Commissioners, we are here to seek your approval and authority to negotiate only a partnership between Excess Tennis Foundation Principal Kamal Murray and his Center Court Development Team with the Chicago Housing Authority's nonprofit affiliate, Chicago Housing Consulting Services. This authority is to negotiate only and is intended to result in leveraging the investment and success of Excess Tennis to further community development activities along the southern portion of the South State Street corridor for residential, athletic, and commercial business through the use of CHA and non-CHA property. All transactional approvals will be brought back to this very board with appropriate operational, financial, and timeline details. This initiative is designed to complement and coordinate with current CHA development efforts in that area. Are there any questions?
We have additional comments?
Yes, Francine, when you say negotiate, I really don't like that word when CHA said, although I'm a commissioner, negotiate and bring back anything in timelines, budgets, what have you. That means like you're going to make it happen, you're going to do something.
We're going to discuss and develop options or opportunities to come back to this board for you to seek and get input, et cetera, prior to anything being done formally.
So, well, I would like to be a part of that.
Yes, you will be.
I would like to be informed about the meetings, time, location before and not after the fact.
Sure.
Okay,
I
well,
don't,
And
I don't
this
see
is
it.
Commissioner Brewer. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
okay. Were you done? Were you finished?
I'm just saying there's too many homeless people out there to be brave, to be building rec centers. We've built everywhere else, giving money to everybody but us. What about us? I always say nobody care about us but us. We have too much vacant land, been laying dormant for 20 years. Yes, we want to put up an arena on the land.
Your points are well taken. This is just a negotiation before anything can be approved.
I've heard
They
that
do have
before.
to bring this back. And when they bring this back, it should be clear where the housing component is about this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
With a timeline.
Okay. We had Brewer on, and then we'll go to Commissioner Parker. Commissioner Brewer, did you have a comment?
Yeah, thank you. So my question is, so the negotiations, it looks like, would be, this is more of a question than a statement. I see approximately 6 acres of land. Is that what the negotiations are for? And then I also see that we're preparing to issue a pre-qualified development team opportunity notice for the remaining land. Is that an independent factor, or is that somehow part of the negotiation as well?
I would say that they're coordinated in such that it's all part of CHA site development issues. Also, the negotiation will, that's the CHA-specific acreage that you mentioned. Additionally, there's off-site third-party land that would be looked to assemble as well. And I believe the RFQ that you were speaking of is coming out of the development office.
Yeah. Okay.
Segregately. Okay.
But Bureau, excuse me, Francine, I don't know why we're discussing off-site. We have all that vacant land. So we'll deal with it when we go to negotiation. But off-site, too much vacant land, talking about off-site.
So there have been a request made by commissioners to be kept more in the loop as the negotiations go on.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't believe
We
it.
had Commissioner Parker, who also wanted to make a comment or had a question.
Yeah, my question is, some similar to what Brewer is with the 100 construction jobs and the 17 minority coaching jobs. Is this just a background of Essex tennis, or is this relevant to this?
Yes, no, that's just a
negotiation?
background to display the community benefits which were utilized within the last development there as part of the CHA project with Excess.
So when you talk about 6 full-time permanent jobs, is any of that Section 3? I mean, what kind of Section 3 compliance are they?
I believe their Section 3 compliance was in the construction mostly, and full-time jobs revolve around the coaches and staff at the center.
So that's just random city of Chicago hires. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm saying, what do we get to keep? You know what I mean? I don't need to know what we getting while we're doing construction.
Right.
What could we hold on to in terms of now we gave them this land? Are they employing our people for the long term, or is this just doing construction?
I can answer that. Yes, they are employing our residents. Nobody followed through, but I followed through. Yes, we have several residents working there from the beginning.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you, Commissioner.
But I'm sorry.
Excuse
Go
me,
ahead,
Madam
Mr.
Chairwoman. In addition, there are a number of programs that are available for our residents at low cost or no cost for the most part. The XX Tennis Facility is a very successful venture. It is a unique opportunity in the city. And just to give you an idea of the scale, most recently, the practice sessions for the NCAA tennis trials were held there. This is the first time that it's been held outside of a Big Ten university.
So we getting more than what we got when we gave that property over at Ickey's, the track and field thing we got over there. This one is really offering more to our resident.
And I know we have a lot of programming there with students as well from CPS and summer camp, so and I'm not familiar with some of the other things you may have mentioned.
I do frequent it because I drop people off, I pick kids up, so it is beneficial, but no housing, nothing else.
And Commissioner Washington, housing is an absolute requirement, not third-party housing. Our housing on our land is an absolute requirement of this project.
I have to wait and see.
So if that's all the questions, I will comment again to Michael that prior to this being brought back, it would behoove you to intermediately allow the commissioners to understand how this is going to flow, and housing is going to be a critical part of this, the timing,
Absolutely.
when, all of that.
We'll provide updates and briefings as needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mike. We're going to move on, and we will have Cheryl Burns, Chief Housing Choice Voucher Officer, will present to us item number 9, recommendation to execute housing assistant payment contracts with the Big Deal Apartments, Cal Mel Family Apartments, Chicago Lighthouse Residences, Encuentro Square Apartments, Inglewood Family House, Corner Park Loft Apartments, Magic Glove Apartments, New City Apartments, Sarah Circle 2 Apartments, 1201 North California Apartments, 1850 South Racine Apartments, and 4715 Northwestern Apartments. Cheryl?
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you is a recommendation for 12 properties to receive 222 project-based voucher units. 191 of these count to fulfill an obligation for replacement housing for Cabrini and Lathrop in the communities near these developments. The remaining 31 units will provide supportive housing as part of CHA's commitment to Chicago's plan to end homelessness. All these projects were vetted through our regular evaluation process. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have questions or comments by the commissioners?
No, I'm just looking at the address and locations and seeing there's nothing across 35th Street. That's okay for now.
And so, my question is, these vacancies or these units will come off of the waiting list, or where do we get the tenants from?
So all of these will have a site-based wait list created for them, and they will be CHA residents or CHA wait list participants.
So once we do this approval today, we could go ahead and start registering on, when will the waiting list open?
So the wait list won't open until the developments are built. All but one of these are brand new construction. So they're going through additional funding rounds because there's no funding coming from the CHA. It will only be rents. So once they have all of their funding and they've developed all of these properties, then we'll have site-based wait lists set up for those.
So what's the purpose of you coming, just to set aside the units?
We are required to get approval from this board to allocate project-based vouchers for these units. So for a new HAP or AHAP, we have to come before the board.
For future projects, I don't understand if we don't know when, if these will actually be built, then you come back and reduce your number, because I'm.
So the requirement for an AHAP is an agreement to enter into a HAP contract. That has to come. That has to be approved by this board. That's what this request is for. Many of these are for an AHAP and a HAP. A HAP is what's executed once the development is built.
That's what I'm getting confused with, the AHAP and the HAP. Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Commissioner Hart. May I ask a question?
Yes.
Within the review of the proposals that came in, was there any prioritization of projects that actually had a line of sight to financing? Was that included in your review?
So that's always a part of the review, but many of we really looked at the highest priorities for the applications. So each evaluator was required to evaluate them based on where they were located in a control opportunity or general area, whether there was a CHA commitment to create housing in a specific area, and that they had to provide affordable housing that supports CHA partnerships that work to preserve existing affordable housing. So there's a lot of things that we look at, but yes.
So those were the priorities, not actual potential for funding.
We gave a preliminary commitment for applications.
I'm not asking about our commitment for application. I'm asking for whether there was prioritization for projects that actually had the capital stack financing, a line of sight to that before we committed our resources on the rent side.
No, these were all applications to provide. These applications are looking for additional financing, so no.
So does that limit our ability to then do additional AHAP for projects that might come in further down the line that do have a line of sight for financing? Or do you understand my question?
So these approvals will be good through December of 2021. So we are still looking at new applications.
So
is there a cap on how many we can put out there at once? I believe is the commissioner's question.
So we do have a plan to look to not add more than 400 new PBVs in a year. So we monitor those based on when they come online. The dates are fluid. They change based on construction schedules, weather, and different things. So because a PBV is really a reduction in our tenant-based housing choice vouchers, we carefully monitor those. So we will take applications as long as we know that we're not overutilizing.
And do we, Megan, may I? Do we look in the interim? Right now, we've got a 2-year window.
Yes.
Will we go back in 3 months and 3 months and 3 months and see if the project might actually be stalled or stopping and then take it away from them? So that we can put it into something else?
It wouldn't be within 3 months, so they would have
6
until,
months.
they would have until 2021. If they're really stalled and they can't complete by that time, then yes, we would not fulfill our obligation there.
So we've committed for 2 years.
Correct.
That does limit what else we can commit to.
But
So we do have consistently families that are coming off the program. So we have about 1,800 families that we know, that's our annual attrition for the voucher program. So we monitor that, and everything is fluid, right? We watch it on a monthly basis to see where we can let out more vouchers. So it's not,
So it doesn't stop us for 2 years from.
no,
entering
we
into
just
new
have to
agreements.
monitor that. That might mean we wouldn't be able to pull people from the HCV wait list for a period of time. But yeah, we look, this is what we propose for this year because we do want to continue to pull from our HCV wait list.
Commissioner Hart, does that answer your question?
It's an answer, yes.
Just another additional question on that. You mentioned that there are 400 PVVs that you expect to let during any given year. So do these 222 vouchers fall into this year, next year, or when they actually come online?
So this is for what we plan to release for this year. So we still have just under 200.
So coming online really means committed.
Committing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
But again, that could be changed based on our HCV allocation.
I think there was another hand. Okay.
that's what I was finna say, talking about committed, in 2 years, these folks are trying to find funding, then we're gonna put those vouchers in there. But what if they don't find funding the next year, and someone else has another project, and they got the funding to get started? So if we commit to these, then it become hard to do something on the side, because when they said 400 to 425. So how would that work?
If they have funding and something that's coming online this year that we could approve, we're still looking at our allocation for vouchers on a month-to-month basis. So we can change that. The goal is for us to try to have a plan that we can plan in the future so we know what we're, and it's just a plan. It's not set in stone. That's just the plan that we were working with so that we can monitor how many are coming online at a given time.
Okay, although we vote on this is just an iffy. If they should do what they need to do, then we'll do this. If not, we're gonna move on to the next.
Yeah, so we will keep a pipeline and delivery schedule for all of these, but we do expect that many of these will be funded and they will come online.
And it does not preclude from additional projects that are funding worthy to come online and move quicker.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Commissioner Parker?
So that was my question with the big one. Like one of these projects is almost giving 50% of their construction, and so, like Megan said, we just not sure if they got funded. We assuming they will get funding, but there's no guarantees, especially with what we're going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
So these is, like you said, just soft holes. Really, there's not nothing etched in stone. We just saying, could these properties be moved around in terms of, say, I'm just using them as an example, big deal apartments, the developer may have properties other places. Could that be moved like that, or it's just committed to this address?
It's committed to this one. We have to come back to the board to make additional commitments. We're not able to do that without coming back before you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I think,
Commissioner Harris here.
okay, Dr. Harris, go ahead.
Yes, just an observation. In the past, we used to have the Dun and Bradstreet form that we would use to get information about the owners of developments and what have you, the history, to see if they had any liens, to see what they were worth, and what have you. So I'm looking here we do have some people that you have mentioned that they're owned by their names and what have you, and that they're able to do what they do. But the Dun & Bradstreet gave more pertinent information, I think, and so that's what I was kind of looking for, that I think I would like to see more information given just to see their financial background, to see if they have any liens or if they have had any suits or what their worth is and how long they have been in existence and what their ratings are with other developments.
Understood.
All right.
So I'd just like to throw that out. The Dun & Bradstreet, I think, is a very good instrument by which we could use, if need be, to have that kind of information at hand so that we can examine it more thoroughly.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Very good point. Commissioner Parker?
Sorry, this is my last comment. And I just wanted to just ask you again, Cheryl, and I think you already cleared this up. None of these locations get a dime until they produce the units.
That is
right?
correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. So thank you for that clarification. And I also just want to leave with a final clarification that 191 of these vouchers are to replace housing that was at Cabrini and Lathrop. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Hi, I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Hart. I have another question.
Oh, okay. Please come back to the podium. Continue on, Commissioner Hart.
Sorry, I just want a little bit of clarification on how the Gautreaux Council is engaged in these reviews, and whether there's any recognition of markets that may be general areas but are very quickly turning towards gentrification, and whether that's included in the review.
Did you understand that question? So let me see if I can rephrase it just a little bit. So the first part of your question was, Gautreaux is being used as one of the kind of CIS or prioritizers for these units.
Mm-hmm.
However, how is it taking into consideration other deals that may be in general populations or demographics that aren't Gautreaux ready? Actually, how is the Gautreaux Council, or whatever you may call it, taking part in helping to make these decisions? Is that correctly what you asked, Commissioner Hart?
Yeah, that's the first part, and then the other part is sort of where Francine was going, which is some of the communities that are general now are changing, and I'd like to understand how we're adapting the review to be able to accommodate for preserving affordable housing in those communities that we know are rapidly changing.
Our council might want to jump in on this, but right now, everything is being reviewed under the current maps that have been agreed with BPI. So general areas are based on the maps, and that's what we use for the evaluation.
Okay. I want to take a note that Nora is now speaking.
Carrie.
I'm sorry, Carrie, is now speaking.
Thank you, sorry.
But,
Okay,
you know,
Steinbeck.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
You know what?
That was, I'm sorry, just 1 minute, Commissioner March. That was the answer to one question.
Right.
There were two questions. Okay.
So, Commissioner Hart, Cheryl Colston speaking. So we are currently working with council to determine criteria that would provide for those particular areas that are on the cusp, revitalizing areas, if you will, to allow us to acquire, build housing in those areas.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Washington and then Commissioner Parker.
I'm just going to say this. I want to make a statement. I am so tired of BPI, building general area up and coming. I thought they were supposed to deal with hard and soft units. All this land we vacated, that's hard units. Nothing's happening. That's what they're supposed to be concentrating on. Yet and still, they're building up their own communities. If BPI is about the business, taking care of BPI business, when they had them builders torn down all these vacant property, they need to be about that business. And I hope they're watching. I'm tired of them. Something got to change. They ain't helping us residents none. And I am a resident. They ain't doing nothing for us.
My question
Tired
is,
of them.
with the, and this is probably too a legal question, with the legal issues we have in as far as the control, is it a certain area that these units have to be built? Because we're replacing units on on the north. And so to build them on the south, is that contradicting part of the agreement that we do have with BPI that if we put Progresso, Cabrini, and Lathrop, which is north side, a lot of these properties that they presented is in that proximity. Taking it far out of that proximity, would that cause an issue?
So it is a 50-50 split under the settlement agreement. So we're required to build in general areas before we would be able to build in other areas in the city under certain circumstances.
So I'm saying when we place Cabrini, we can place them units anywhere, like at 130th from Cabrini, that could actually fit for a replacement.
So under the settlement agreement, we're limited with where we can build housing, even replacement housing.
Oh, that's what I wanted.
But you got to look at control from both sides. You limit where you can build replacement housing, but when they tore the buildings down, that shouldn't be up for discussion. They supposed to build on the land they tore the houses down on. Some things is not for discussion. It's common sense. Forget general area. Forget being limited. They sat at the tables from day one. Something is wrong.
I believe James Beverly has a comment.
Commissioner, there are certain areas that we have identified as areas in our master plan, including the South Side, that have been built into the settlement agreement and allows us to do some work on the South Side, and we can share that with you.
So them other 200.
It's a joke.
And it's
I'm tired of
and it is focused on those areas. I think that you have in mind South Cabrini areas. We don't yet have redevelopment. I'm sorry, South Taylor. Some areas we don't yet have development agreements, but the settlement agreement provides for the recognition that there needs to be settlement agreement. BPI has acknowledged that, and it would be part of our plan.
It should have, that land been dormant for 20 years, 20 whole years.
Which is why we
Lathrop just came down and we built a replacement housing already, less than 5 years. Something is wrong with that picture. BPI must be extremely prejudiced.
Do we have any other further questions for Cheryl or Carrie? Okay, we will move right on. Thank you very much. We'll move right on to Matt Mosier, the Chief Construction Officer, who will now present the next two items. Those are item number 10, authorization to execute a contract modification with ALL Masonry Construction Company, Inc., for the conversion and renovation of 1852 South Albany for a total not to exceed amount of $6,030,790.22.
Good morning. This is the change order for Phase 2 and Phase 3 for this project. The Phase 3 is for the auditorium, and we want to do it under this change order to speed up the actual construction work.
Are there any questions or
Yes.
comments?
Ms. Washington, this is a change order for Phase 2 and Phase 3. When we finish with this $6 million, we'll be finished with the whole building.
No, there'd be Phase 4, which would be the third floor, which we're working out the programming for that right now. That would be a separate thing that we would need to bring to you.
I have a
Total
comment.
facility.
Matanky.
Yes, Commissioner Matanky?
It hits me the wrong way that we're spending money on an auditorium in this economy and with people that need housing, and I just want to register that.
Thank you for the comment.
I just have one thing I want to bring out with your vendor information about this Louis Puig, who is the contractor, AAL Masonry Construction Company. This is his first time, their first time working with us. And again, I would just like to have more information concerning this construction companies. What you have here is minimum, but I think that we need to have more information, especially when people are just joining us for the first time.
Commissioner,
I
there
would
are-
recommend the Dun & Bradstreet or some other vehicles of which we could look at to see how we can get more information about these different construction companies.
Commissioner, they're actually the general contractor for the Altgeld Library project as well.
Well, it just says it has not previously served as a prime general contractor on CHA construction projects. I'm looking at what is written in my book here. So that's what I'm going by.
Okay. Thank you.
But thank you for that information. But
Thank
when
you,
I read it
Commissioner.
under information, it does not state that.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner Harris. This building, just also to note, is the new location for the HCV offices?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So thank you for your comments. Were there any other comments by any other commissioners?
Me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Parker?
So, Matt, $6 million is a big old change order. Could you give me a reason why, during the middle of construction, why would we allow you to do a change order of that magnitude? Give me a reason why you think
for sure.
that's-
So the reason is it's strategic in that we want to kind of truncate the procurement process in that if we bid this, it's going to push out the work. And what we want to target is getting this work done for the start of CPS's fall school term. If we bid that and not do it this way, we won't make that date.
And so we'll have to put another bid out, you saying, otherwise we taking on the auditorium. I mean, I think you told me in briefings, but why do we just do the part we said we were going in there to do instead of adding to it?
This is part of what we said we were going to do in the overall planning of the project. The only difference is instead of bidding this out to a separate pool of contractors, this contractor's still on site, and so we can just mobilize immediately and start the work.
So you just really phased it up. This really is, okay, so this really not a unforeseen circumstance. This is something that was coming down the pipe.
Right.
And one other additional question about that, is the amount of the change order approximately what we had expected to spend
Yes.
that we originally committed to? Okay. Commissioner Washington?
I had another question. As Dr. Harris said, we need to monitor the process to make sure, since they are a new contract, I'm still thinking about Novak and Lincoln Perry building new contract, still suffering. Also, what do the opening of the schools have to do with it? We in the school, we know that contracting work. We have nothing to do with the public schools, so it shouldn't matter with our timeline.
So the independent managers of the auditorium that we're going to procure through a separate RFP, all of them have identified that they want to have this work and be in the building by the start of the school year. Based on whatever curriculum they're going to have, it's critical for them to coincide with the start of school.
So this is commissioners, let me remind you, this is the Pope School building.
I know.
This is a building that we got from the Board of Education at no cost. The Board of Education has historically, with all of the closed buildings, encouraged community participation in the disposition of those buildings. So in almost all of them, there's been some community element driven in part by, led by the aldermen, driven by the community to demonstrate a continuing community use of the facility. And at Pope, we currently have offices for HCV over time. And mind you, those offices replace space that we used to pay rent for on the west side some years ago. We will expand that space eventually to use for more of our administrative offices. But part of the community element is having an organization to come in and provide theater and theater-related activities for the public schools and the community.
And so could I say it contributed to reducing the blight in the community? Actually, I think you told me this. I asked you. It actually brightened out the community. It's a nice
For sure.
piece of
Yeah, it was
historic. It's a building historic.
It is. I don't know if it's registered, but for our purposes, it is. Just with the processes that we have to go to get the approval to spend the money, it's basically treated as historic.
And so
But it was an abandoned building, had been vandalized. Everything was stripped out of it. It was definitely an eyesore until we started renovating it.
So now, like I say, people in the community is coming inside the building, and it's just
For sure.
lit the corner back up.
Yep.
Will there also be a mandate for our residents to be able to utilize the services there?
Yep.
Do you know the amount?
I do not know the amount.
Okay.
I can get that, though.
Thank you.
Because we're looking for a place to hold our Lawndale LAC meetings at, community meetings. Thank you. And I live down the street from Pope School, so worked at St. Anthony Hospital right across the street for 4 years.
And could I add that I am a Section 8 tenant, and so the previous office compared to this one is is a good change for me. And so I know that a lot of Section 8 residents, when they visit, they looking around to see other things that could be done in the building, maybe with their children, especially if they live real close. I'm not real close to the building, but that's my office. And so I'm just glad that we decided to do something with it, with potential for additional office space. Maybe we'll get a Section 8 office in there one day.
Thank you, Commissioner Parker. Commissioner Hart?
what-
Okay.
Just of the, Matt, of the $6 million, is there an acceleration fee in there to complete this by the beginning of the school year?
There is.
How much?
I can get that for you, Commissioner. I don't know off the top of my head.
I mean, I guess my question is if this isn't going to interrupt school activities and it's in a building that's not connected to education programming, I recognize the interest of programs to get started at the beginning of the school year, but I don't know that we need to be rushed to be able to do that programming if it doesn't make financial sense for us. So I pause a little bit on paying an acceleration fee to do that. Now, if we needed to do it for getting the voucher office in there, that makes sense. But I'm just not sure why we're paying an acceleration fee to meet someone else's programming needs when programming can pretty much start anytime.
I'll get you those numbers, Commissioner, but I can tell you that the acceleration would be small because of, and one of the other benefits of having this contractor do the work is that they've done a lot of the infrastructure already through the Phase 2 project, so they can pretty much seamlessly go in and hit it. There should be no reason if, assuming this is approved and we get them the documents that they need to move forward with, we have a solid 3 months of construction that we could do, and they have free reign of the place, so it should go pretty quick.
In addition,
Understood. This isn't in a school, and there's no school activity that's going to be happening if it's in the closed post-school. So I just want my comment noted, please.
And I can get you the number.
Thank you, Commissioner Hart. Matt, also just may I add one other thing, Commissioner Matanke. Is the end user, the programming vendor that we're planning on using, are they taking any of the hit to assist with this acceleration fee or partner with us in being able to meet their deadline?
It's not in the cost for this general contractor.
Mm-hmm.
The only way we would do that would be in the RFP for their services. And I just don't, it's not my world, so I don't know what that would be. But I can find out for you.
Can you find out if that's an intention of whose world it is? And,
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And it needs to be.
Understood.
Commissioner Matanke.
So in a normal contract for construction, there'd be mobilization charges. Do we have some cost savings here because they're already in the building?
We do, and they're still working on the Phase 2, just doing punch list stuff and cleanup of that. There's still some bunch of exterior work that they haven't finished, so that's another benefit of them just moving through.
Can you give me a number at some point?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll move right into if there aren't any other questions, we'll move right into item number 11, which is the authorization to execute a contract modification with Madison Construction for the renovation of the Henry Horner Townhomes Annex for a total not to exceed amount of $640,675.48.
This is for the Henry Horner project. She's closing it up. It's due to project delays that we had with relocating residents throughout the phases. We allotted time based on the transition from Phase 1 to Phase 2 to Phase 3, and it just took a lot longer than we thought to move the residents in and out. So that delayed the contractor, and they stayed on site. They never left. They maintained security, maintained their the minimum of trades that they needed to be there. So it ended up impacting them. It's approximately 261 days of impact, and this is the final change order. Once we process this, it's done.
Were there any questions? Commissioner Washington?
This is.
Can you speak into the mic?
This is from the delays that it took moving people from one place to the other and transfer them around, right?
Yep.
Because I looked at the building, I looked at all the townhouses that they restored. They look nice. But I know they was completed last year.
Yeah, some of that was
Final
arguing
stuff.
about what this cost would be. It was a little bit higher before we brought it in.
But they was completed last year, almost a year and a half ago. I was over there And I help move the tent, help get tenants to move in those units.
We've had them out there in the fall doing punch list work, and there was one resident that we couldn't move because of a reasonable accommodation specific to them. So they were there doing that work, but the majority of the work was done quite some time ago.
Yes, I know.
So I got one concern, and that's that we, again, too, if we haven't already started, I thought we did. When we got construction scheduled or construction on the ground, we should always be in contact with our property management, making sure that they're clearing away. I mean, don't.
We do. In this case, because of a separate agreement, the residents, when they moved, they couldn't just go into any other space or any other unit that we had. There were specific areas that we were limited to, and it just took us, frankly, longer than what we had planned. And that's on my group's side of just about planning that.
Oh, so this property management didn't drop the ball?
No, they didn't. I was going to make a joke, but.
Oh, that was you? Okay, you'll take the hit.
And lessons learned have been taken into
Yes.
consideration in future projects.
Yeah. And we've had it at other projects where we don't have this, where this one just is kind of an anomaly that it's happened.
Were there any other questions about this item? No? All right, thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Item number 12 will now be presented by Eric Garrett, Chief Property Officer. Item number 12 reads as follows: recommendation to approve the proposed FY 2020 Senior Designated Housing Plan and to submit to HUD upon approval. Eric?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
CHA is seeking board approval for the FY 2020 Senior Designated Housing Plan. The Senior Designated Housing Plan commits select CHA-owned public housing and rental assistance demonstration units to Chicago's elderly population. CHA is required to update the Senior Designated Housing Plan every 5 years. 2 updates have been incorporated into Chapter 3 of the document. 1, language clarifying that reduced age properties for seniors 55 years or older with tenant selection plans will not be subject to occupancy benchmarks review standards. 2, language confirming the provision of supportive service through resident service coordinators or family works providers to seniors residing in senior designated housing, public housing, and RAD properties, and seniors residing into family public housing properties. CHA held 30-day public comment periods to allow residents and the community at large to submit oral and written comments regarding information contained in the proposed 2020 Senior Designated Housing Plan. Additionally, 3 public hearings were held during the 30-day comment period. Public comments were considered prior to finalizing the proposed 2020 SDP. I'm open for questions.
Are there any comments or questions on this item?
At first, I was concerned about it, but then I realized you had the folks that got on the wait list at the age 55, they now 62, they can move anywhere. So with all the folks we have on the wait list, especially for senior houses, since we're living longer, we should never have to worry about this.
That's correct.
Any other comments?
So you said STP, not TSP. Did you mean to say tenant selection plan?
No. So I said SDHP, which is Senior Designated Housing Plan, and then TSP, which is Tenant Selection Plan. So it does not impact any TSP that's actually identified for 55 and older. So they are not required under these standards. So if it's in their TSP, they are exempt from the review.
So they kind of grandfathered into whatever their
TSP states. That's correct.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other further questions? All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
The next 2 items will be presented by Ann McKenzie, Chief Development Officer. We will start with item number 13, which is a recommendation to loan Chicago Housing Authority funds in the amount not to exceed $13 million for Emmett Street Apartments and to enter into a RAD project-based voucher housing assistance payment contract. Ann?
Thank you. As you said, this action is a request to submit a RAD project-based voucher financing plan to HUD and loan up to not to exceed $13 million for a new building to be constructed in Logan Square, which I think all of you know is gentrifying. The developer, Bickerdike Redevelopment Corporation, will develop this 100% affordable housing building at the site of a city-owned parking lot adjacent to the Logan Square CTA Blue Line stop. The building will have a total of 100 units, with 50 reserved for CHA residents. Development continues to work on the underwriting of this transaction with both the City of Chicago and Baker Dyke Development, as interest rates and low-income housing tax credit rates are volatile, especially right now. But we need to get this financing plan in with the plan to close hopefully on this deal as early as June. May I answer any questions?
Madam Chairman, what's the total cost of this project? I'm not seeing it. Am I missing it?
The total cost is approximately $30 million.
So we're in this for,
Third.
we're loaning 13 million?
Yes. It's a not to exceed amount.
However, it is a loan.
It is a loan. Interest rate that we're talking about right now is in the 2% range, but I can't promise that that's where it will end up. It will be a soft loan, just like the City of Chicago's loan.
How much is
from
the City of
cash flow.
Chicago's loan?
City of Chicago's is more than $10 million.
Okay, Francine again, Washington. This really sounds nice. 13 million to build something up north. We could have gave it 13 million to the south side. Since their land has been laying vacant and dormant for over 20 years. I know I keep harping on this, but I get so frustrated. The north side's gonna sink. It's gonna be so heavy. Nothing is, if y'all notice the pattern, nothing is going south. You gave them 13 million. You could have gave that to Oakwood Shores, Park Boulevard, to Savoy. You could do that London, the vacant land, that land dormant on Kersey and 16th Street, all that nice grass down for both schools. That's all our vacant land. Been vacant for over 35 years. I live there, I know. But when we gonna put some money on CHA's land instead of making everybody else look good? And I'm gonna keep saying that till something change. At this point, as a resident, I'm frustrated. Nobody care about us but us.
Commissioner Parker?
So this is more than a loan. We actually giving them half payments too. So what type of units we gonna occupy? Well, how much is that amount? Does it say Emmett Street loan and enter into a RAD project-based voucher contract?
So, I apologize. So every time that we enter into a loan, we also bring in a subsidy, and this happens to be RAD HAP for a 15-year, no, we're going to do a 20-year term automatic renewal, and there will be a use agreement recorded against this, so this could go into perpetuity as a subsidized development.
I don't know if perpetuity
I'm sorry,
means
forever.
Please don't use no. Oh, okay, that was a little fancy word you tried to throw in there, but I'm just asking, how many units when you talk about a HAP contract?
It's 50 under a RAD project-based voucher HAP. 50, half of the building.
Oh, so it's 100 unit, 50 RAD. So we're
Yes.
doing 13 million, and then we're gonna start paying them for the 50 units as well.
Yes.
So we're really financing 56% of the building. With the 13 million and 50 units, really 62, but I'm just saying 53%.
So you said total cost is 30 million for the whole 100
Yes.
units?
Yes.
We're giving 13 plus the help for the 50 units. That's how much percentage? Good deal.
So we got ownership?
We do not have ownership in this.
Previously ownership?
No.
I'm sorry, no, this is city-owned land.
Oh, you did say that? Oh, okay. Any Section 3 requirements? Because I went on a project with you before. I saw all union guys. None of people look like me. So,
Yes, the compliance is into compliance right now. It has been since February. There's compliance required on a $13 million loan.
If someone.
So yes, there will be
follow
Section
through.
3.
I need to see that because y'all say that. Not like I said, I walked one project.
We'll share
It
the
was-
utilization plan.
Okay.
No one follows up and followed through. I'm not frustrated. I'm just, I don't know, I'm just angry. Nothing is for us. the
So a
resident.
suggestion would be that, number one, you'll share the utilization program for the Section 3 and give updates as to how that plan is being complied with over time.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
May
If
I
there aren't
ask-
any.
Yeah, may I ask a point of
Commissioner.
clarification from Commissioner Washington? Is your objection to units on the north side here based on the fact that we're doing it on somebody else's land as opposed to our land?
It's both. Most of all we doing on someone else's land. And everything we do, Everything we've been doing and you've been doing since you've been here has been north. Name one thing south.
I
It
thought,
seems that nobody care about us but us, to me.
all right, because I'd heard routinely that we need to build more units on the north side and that we weren't doing enough on the north side. So,
Really?
oh, that's what I thought. But
We study
that's what
building
I'm
up on, we're study building up on somebody else's land. We have all this vacant land on the south side, but nothing is happening. Control or otherwise, nothing is happening. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, thank you.
Nobody hear me but me. But I love hearing myself talk.
I feel that we need to just revisit that. This is Commissioner Harris. Revisit that you're bringing up.
Nothing gonna happen.
So, I'm sorry, is this land for homeless vets? I mean, what is it, family housing? What they building in? You ain't giving us no background.
For anybody.
It is not for homeless vets, it's for CHA general waitlist.
Okay, family housing.
Yes.
So these gonna be 2-3 bedrooms?
1, 2, and 3.
And I'm like Francine, you do need to do something south, but growing up on the south side and seeing how nice the north side is, I like the opportunity given to go north because, again, if you're not rich, there wasn't no room for folks on the north side unless they had a lot of money. And so I'm all for the building on the north for low income folks.
If you build up the
All right.
south side, we could look the same way.
Okay,
Those
commissioners,
swing
thank
both
you
ways.
for your comments. You are heard.
This is
You are heard.
Commissioner Brewer. I have a quick question. I think early on someone used the term soft loan, and I just wanted to understand what that means.
Commissioner Brewer, there is a hard loan on this, a bank loan that is a fully amortizing loan. Our loan would become payable either out of, it is payable out of cash flow, on an annual basis after an analysis of cash flow, and then at a recapitalization event, either at 15 years or the whole loan would balloon whatever's left of it at the end of 30 or 40 years. We're still looking at whether it's a 30 or 40-year term.
May I ask?
So that was my next question. The term of the loan is so that's still being negotiated.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
May I point out that the first mortgage is under $3 million, so it's not a heavy bank loan.
Nope.
From the capital structure that you gave us, and we should be paid back on this.
We do expect this to cash flow.
The projection is that it will cash flow from
Yes.
year one.
And we should be getting annual payments.
Okay.
So if we don't, we can lien the property. Will we get what's the guarantee just in case they run out of money and they can't pay us back?
Well, our mortgage is a lien, but I need legal to answer the rest of that for you.
Because we started off with a loan somewhere else like this, and then now they're giving our property back. I think that's your next item. So could that happen? This was never our property. So.
This one was never our property.
Okay. Were there any other questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, if commissioners don't have any additional questions, we will move on to item number 14, which is a recommendation to enter into a purchase and sale agreement to purchase the 16% ownership interest in JNB Concord Sheridan LLC, general partner of the residential owner of Concord at Sheridan.
Thank you. This action is a request to purchase a share of the ownership of the Concord at Sheridan, a newly constructed building at 6418 North Sheridan Road, which is directly north of our Carolyn Hedger Apartments. This purchase would be for an approximately 16% ownership interest of the general partner, which is presently owned by Rob Farino, who is also the owner of Madison Construction. This action is for the residential portion of this new building, which is across the street from Loyola University. And just to remind you, the building is a 7-story new construction, mixed-use, mixed-income building with 111 apartments above a Target store with underground parking that contains approximately 136 parking spaces. With this purchase, a CHA affiliate will be a part of the team that makes decisions regarding property management, budgeting, and the long-term plan for the building. As Commissioner Parker pointed out, we are a lender in the initial development, but it is now completed. So the risk of construction is over, and we think that this is a good opportunity to put ourselves back into the ownership.
Ann, just a quick question. You said that this purchase would allow us to be a part of a team of the decision makers regarding this project. How many other team members are there?
There are 3 other team members. They are J&B, I'll tell you that, an entity owned by Jim Bergman, which is 51%, an entity owned by Lightendale Group, which is 25%, and Cubit, which is owned by Chris Trittis, and I'm sorry, I don't do well to his name, which is 8%.
Okay.
They happen to be the partners in the Rosenwald on the south side, which is another development that we financed.
Thank you. Are there other questions by other commissioners?
I heard us say
What is
something.
the dollar amount?
Up to $1.6 million. It's a little bit less than that, but we put it in as up to 1.6 million.
And what's our understanding of the value of the? We will be buying into a 16% position. Is that 1.6 16% of the value, or how does that compare?
We did a present value analysis of 20 years at about a 4% rate.
Okay.
Okay. Were there any other questions?
Question, you said something I didn't quite understand it or missed it. You said Madison Construction was the contractor.
Yes, Madison was also the contractor, but
And they owned it too.
this same owner is who we would be buying his ownership. He was also an owner.
Madison's the owner, and we fund. There was no conflict.
At the
You
time.
said Madison was the owner, and we financed them to work on their own property, plus they have other contracts from us.
When there is that conflict, we ask them to put up a Chinese wall and work around that, but they are not the only developer we've worked with which has their own contractor.
I just want to know because I don't want to do nothing wrong, then get blamed.
That's why I'm telling you
That's
that
an
the owner's
example.
the same.
I don't get it. We'll discuss it because I don't get that part.
Commissioner Washington. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
We will go into public participation. As noted, we don't have the public present today, so we did invite the public to submit their questions or comments online. We extended the original registration timeframe until Sunday, March 29th at 9 p.m. We received only one comment. This comment was from Ms. Tamika Holt, and it reads as follows. I have a question for the board regarding project-based voucher funding when it comes to mixed income properties. What are the rules and regulations involved with the funding in its entirety? Meaning, construction pay scale, low-income housing regulations, how long does the housing stay income-based, etc. Why does the agency have such a hard time working out the issues with non-union contractors and union contractors when it comes to projects with federal funding? Where did the monies allocated for the job orders go? And if it was funded by the vote of the CHA board vote, how was it moved without the vote of the CHA board? Best regards and stay healthy, Tamika Holt. Okay. We will respond to Ms. Holt's comments in writing and distribute them at the next board meeting. Commissioners, do you have any further questions or comments on any of the items presented by staff? Okay. Hearing none, I would like to present an omnibus motion for the approval of items number 1 through 14. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals?
Hi, this is Commissioner Hart. I have to recuse from the negotiation of the land on the Robert Taylor.
Okay. Thank you. That has been duly noted. All right. With that, items 1 through 14 have been approved. We will now have a few comments from our acting CEO, James Beverly.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Good morning and welcome to this rescheduled meeting of the Board of Commissioners meeting. I hope you're all safe and healthy as we confront the challenges facing us every day during this time. The health and safety of our residents and staff remain the highest priority at CHA. Along with city departments and sister agencies, we are following the lead of the City of Chicago Department of Health when it comes to the COVID-19 pandemic. As part of the city's comprehensive response to COVID-19, CHA stands with Mayor Lightfoot in continuing to offer information, support, and resources to our residents in these unsettling times. While CHA offices are closed to the public, we continue to operate during these difficult times and are working to keep our supply lines open while providing all essential services to CHA families, seniors included. We have also provided regular communication reminding residents to take precautions against the virus, support for our seniors with increased assessments of the home-based services we provide, such as meal service, and facilities and safety cleanliness, which includes twice daily cleaning and disinfecting of common areas and commonly touched surfaces more as needed. In furtherance of social distancing goals, all common areas of our buildings, including community rooms, fitness centers, and other places for group gatherings, have been closed. In continuing of services, all CHA and HCV offices telework or use email, regular mail, or phones to continue to provide all essential services to residents, voucher holders, and applicants. Our partnership is essential to CHA's work and mission, and I remain grateful for our continual support from all of our partners throughout the city. We encourage everyone to stay up to date on the latest news and guidance on COVID-19 by visiting the city's coronavirus website. Finally, we urge everyone to comply with the governor's order requiring all residents to stay at home except for essential needs in response to this epidemic. This order will continue at least until April 7th and is necessary to protect our residents and prevent further spread of the virus. Thank you.
Thank you, James. An announcement is that our next committee and board meetings will be scheduled for Tuesday, May 19th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. I will now present a motion to go into closed meeting for approximately 30 minutes. In addition to items 15 through 18 listed on the agenda for today, and in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, the board may discuss matters under the following exceptions: personnel-related matters under C1 and C2, pending, imminent, or probable litigation under C11, purchase, sale, or lease of real estate property under C5 and C6, and audit reviews under C29. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed votes? We will now go into closed session and be back in approximately 30 minutes.
Happy New Year from CHA. My name is Cassie Brooks, and I'm the Assistant Director of Education for the Chicago Housing Authority. We recently sent a postcard out to homes with a member between the ages of 17 and 19 to remind you about two of our financial aid opportunities for CHA residents seeking to attend college. The first is our CHA Scholarship. CHA will be providing over 250 awards of $1,000 to support residents at the school of their choice. Residents can apply online at thecha.org/education. Scholarship application opens January 14th and closes May 14th. Awards are decided over the summer and checks are issued for the fall. Otherwise, if you're planning to attend City Colleges of Chicago, you actually don't need to complete the CHA Scholarship. And that's because CHA has a partnership called the Partners in Education that provides more support to our residents. Simply come to an info session to learn more. Residents can receive vouchers for tuition, books, and fees after financial aid is applied. Please find more information at thecha.org/education.
I'm extremely proud to announce CHA is receiving $2.8 million. $2.8 million in Jobs Plus funding right here in the city of Chicago to the Chicago Housing Authority. That's going to leverage an additional $4.4 million in local investments.
The program's specialty is developing locally based, job-driven approaches to increasing earnings, advancing employment outcomes through employer linkage, job placement, educational advancement, technological skills, and financial literacy. What it means is that soon, no one will be more qualified for jobs in the community than residents of Dearborn, the people right here in this community.
So with the partnership, we focus on high growth, high demand jobs. We connect with employer partners, and we make sure those employer partners understand that our communities, that our public housing developments are filled with people who have untapped talent and untapped potential.
Sometimes as a direct service provider, you don't get everything you need to make this work. We are social services, so we understand that people need the case management, they need the community support, they need some of those incentives. So this is amazing, and we always love to be a part of these types of initiatives because this is what moves people forward to those sustainable jobs.
We know that when you bring jobs to communities, you bring economic empowerment. And so for that, we are grateful. And we are going to do our part to help to make this program, this endeavor a success. We just want to, again, to just say thank you.
The Job Plus program opened so many doors for me and my family. Not only did I go through the program, I went through the training. I gained 4 certificates: food sanitation, retail, customer service, and hospitality. Knowing that I'm not the only one out there that need the help and need the assistance, Job Plus helped me so much. The sky is the limit. And I'm glad to know that not only I landed a job, I landed a career.
I encourage you to take the next step, take the next step, take the next step, and don't ever look back. You can do whatever you put your mind to. You have an opportunity to control your own destiny, and I want you to take full advantage of it.
So what my team and I do with CAJ is make sure that residents are comfortable using the current technology in the world today. Things are changing, so everything now is technology driven. We go out, my team and I, we conduct computer classes teaching residents how to feel comfortable utilizing the various digital devices such as mobile phones, laptops, and computers. And what we found is that so many people are illiterate when it comes to using these devices, and once we have a class and they get comfortable using them, they are so happy and just ecstatic that someone has taken the time to show them some attention and make sure that they're comfortable using these devices.
Now, as far as the classes go, they are very, very helpful for us to, just like children, to learn. It helps you to understand things and move your knowledge further. The first time I came, it was exciting, still kind of nervous, you know, like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then, as I continued to come, it got more exciting. We got certificate, and that motivated me more.
With our youth, we do a lot of coding activities. We work with Northwestern University, we work with Microsoft, we work with Google. We actually took our youth on a tour of Microsoft this summer, and they were very excited. We use programs working with the drones and teaching them how to develop their skills, building bridge, and it's very exciting just to watch their faces when we go through these exercises and they complete a task and see the results.
I learned how to code, work on the computer, I learned how to turn it on, play on it, and all type of stuff. I want to use computers when I get older so I can do like in high school so I can get my education, right? And at the high school I still want to use a computer so I can graduate high school and then go to college, then get a degree.
So this year, CHA completed an application to become a part of an organization called Connect Home USA. The organization will assist CHA in providing residents with digital devices, training, and educational support. So CHA will participate in this organization for 3 years. It's a 3-year commitment, and after that we'll become a legacy agency. And being a cohort, they'll connect us to some of the same resources that they have. So a lot of the work we're doing already, but now we'll have access to more partners, access to more partners that can help us with training. So it just opened up a whole opportunity that we didn't have before.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lori Lightfoot, Mayor of Chicago. I want all Chicagoans to receive the support and resources that they need. That's why I'm making sure that everyone living in our city is counted in the 2020 census next April. So I'm going to count on you for your help. Our count determines representation in Congress, along with funding that we need for schools, roads, libraries, and a whole lot more. I've been working with community partners and mayors across the country to ensure that the census is safe, easy, and fair for all. That means the 2020 census will not include a citizenship question, and your confidential responses are protected by law. I want you to know that the census is safe, easy, and critically important to the future of our city. Our city is stronger when we are all counted. In 2020, make yourself count. Thank you very much.
Our 2019 CHA Operation Warm event is our 12th annual event. We're giving away 7,500 coats. We've got a service fair with 30 vendors, brand new winter coats for public housing youth that live throughout the city of Chicago.
So this event is the single largest event that Operation Warm does every year. We provide coats to kids in 47 states and a couple of provinces in Canada. Last year, 405,000 children received one of our coats, but the single largest event that takes place on one day is this partnership with the CHA.
I'm pretty much getting coats from my family for the winter so we could be prepared. I like that it's pink and it looks very colorful.
It'll be useful for winter and stuff, you know. And I like how they got the texture of the coat. Like, it feels like it's waterproof at the same time. But, you know, it's real comfortable.
This is amazing. This is amazing that so many families would get up on a Saturday and come out and make sure that they have what they need to get through the winter. It's amazing, but it's also a challenge to know that the needs are great, and so we can't just do it by ourselves. And so that's why the sponsors that we have to be able to bring together all the things that we couldn't do by ourselves.
This event is the bomb. This gives you a boost of flavor and a boost of energy. So I look forward to coming here every year. And I have a ball. It's a blast.
Well, this is important because the senior community is the cornerstone of our population. So we think it's important to celebrate the senior population throughout the year
but more importantly have this at least one event that's pretty much our signature event that celebrates them and gives them an opportunity to come out to dine and commune with each other.
This is a major deal. I mean, how can seniors get together and enjoy themselves in a clean, safe atmosphere with some of the greatest people in the world, being sponsored by some of the greatest sponsors you could ever have? CHA and Comcast? Yeah! What can I say? Where can you be alive at 75?
Well, I like dressing for occasions, and I'm a red hatter, and you know we're a little crazy if you know anything about red hatters. So when they say Roaring 20s, it just fit right into what I like to do.
We got here, it was a beautiful place to come to. The music is great, the food is great, and everyone's been very kind. We've had a wonderful time.
It is so important that CHA put resources towards seniors because we're aging every single day. So the importance of being able to age in place and being able to enjoy what's around you is critical. And so being able to be devoted to that is important and a mission of CHA.
Sweetwater Foundation, we've been repurposing different wood materials from the CPS schools that closed. We're turning it into different arts and sculptures.
It makes me proud to know I could, actually put something together that I've never done before.
So I'm learning how to, the basis of writing a script in a movie and pretty much how to build up character, like character development and plot, story, how to keep audiences interested in watching the movie.
Favorite part of the program, being able to write my own script and just being able to see my own work on paper. It feels great. It feels like I've achieved something good and, it makes me feel happy. I've been very interested since a child in creating my own video game, like always, right? And then the fact that I can just do this and how he teaches it is just so simple,
I learned about Photoshop, which was really cool. It's different when you see on computers. You're like, oh, this is good. But when you actually print it, it just be like, dang, I really just did this. You can look on the, like, poster boards, for example, like anywhere, and you're like, okay, I can make something similar to this because I did it. So it just, like, it feels very amazing.
We're really excited to be able to bring a couple dozen colleges to our Summer Youth Employment Program students. So these are students between the age of 18 and 24 who have a summer job with us through the Mayor's Summer Job Program. And we wanted to make sure that as they consider ending their employment with Summer Youth Employment, that they think about their next steps, whether that be college or career.
The type of things that I'm learning are how to make a film come together, whether that's editing or filming and getting interviews together and learning to meet people and how to set up to make a film and working with others as well. It feels good. It makes me feel like I accomplished something or I did something that I never thought I'd be able to do. This is the best thing I ever did out of all summer programs that I ever did in my whole life.
Today we had our 9th annual Take Flight College Reception celebrating 175 CHA youth heading off to over 50 colleges and universities throughout the country.
I'm really grateful for the event because I needed a lot of stuff that I didn't have. I got some towels, a desk lamp, some lunch detergent. I needed everything, so I was really grateful for it.
CHA has helped me with scholarships. They've helped me motivate me with networking and with programs. At the time, I thought I was going to be in the medical field. Grant is one of the people that have helped me stay on track for college.
Oh, they gave really good advice, like be open because I'm really introverted, so I'm gonna be joining clubs, you know.
Means that the world is yours and you're going to be given a view of that. And so just be open to it. Be open to new things, new experiences, new people, new subject matters. Be open.
So be fearless. Don't let anyone steal your shine from you. Like, this is your moment, you earned it. Be fearless.
The event today is a unique opportunity for our CHA bigs and our littles to coexist with people that are very successful in many different categories. We have so many different people from diverse backgrounds. If they're entrepreneurship or finance or in government sector, they can really see that there are so many different paths that they can go down, even if they never even thought about it.
Talking about career advancement is really important because the students are at an age where that's appropriate. So they're starting to think about these things, and so we have a wide variety of individuals in different sectors. So it piques any student's interest in what they may potentially want to do post high school.
My big thing I want them to take away, there are people out here that are willing to help you. All we need you to do is stand up and say you want it. We're here for you. Coming from the housing complex and living there my entire life, so it's really dear to my heart.
Happy New Year from CHA. My name is Cassie Brooks, and I'm the Assistant Director of Education for the Chicago Housing Authority. We recently sent a postcard out to homes with a member between the ages of 17 and 19 to remind you about two of our financial aid opportunities for CHA residents seeking to attend college. The first is our CHA Scholarship. CHA will be providing over 250 awards of $1,000 to support residents at the school of their choice. Residents can apply online at thecha.org/education. Scholarship application opens January 14th and closes May 14th. Awards are decided over the summer and checks are issued for the fall. Otherwise, if you're planning to attend City Colleges of Chicago, you actually don't need to complete the CHA Scholarship. And that's because CHA has a partnership called the Partners in Education that provides more support to our residents. Simply come to an info session to learn more. Residents can receive vouchers for tuition, books, and fees after financial aid is applied. Please find more information at thecha.org/education.
I'm extremely proud to announce CHA is receiving $2.8 million. $2.8 million in Jobs Plus funding right here in the city of Chicago to the Chicago Housing Authority. That's going to leverage an additional $4.4 million in local investments.
The program's specialty is developing locally based, job-driven approaches to increasing earnings, advancing employment outcomes through employer linkage, job placement, educational advancement, technological skills, and financial literacy. What it means is that soon, no one will be more qualified for jobs in the community than residents of Dearborn, the people right here in this community.
So with the partnership, we focus on high growth, high demand jobs. We connect with employer partners and we make sure those employer partners understand that our communities, that our public housing developments are filled with people who have untapped talent and untapped potential.
Sometimes as a direct service provider, you don't get everything you need to make this work. We are social services, so we understand that people need the case management, they need the community support, they need some of those incentives. So this is amazing, and we always love to be a part of these types of initiatives because this is what moves people forward to those sustainable jobs.
We know that when you bring jobs to communities, you bring economic empowerment. And so for that, we are grateful. And we are going to do our part to help to make this program, this endeavor a success. We just want to, again, to just say thank you.
The Job Plus program opened so many doors for me and my family. Not only did I go through the program, I went through the training. I gained 4 certificates: food sanitation, retail, customer service, and hospitality. Knowing that I'm not the only one out there that need the help and need the assistance, Job Plus helped me so much. The sky is the limit. And I'm glad to know that not only I landed a job, I landed a career.
I encourage you to take the next step, take the next step, take the next step, and don't ever look back. You can do whatever you put your mind to. You have an opportunity to control your own destiny, and I want you to take full advantage of it.
So what my team and I do with CHA is make sure that residents are comfortable using the current technology in the world today. Things are changing, so everything now is technology driven. We go out, my team and I, we conduct computer classes, teaching residents how to feel comfortable utilizing the various digital devices such as mobile phones, laptops, and computers. And what we found is that so many people are illiterate when it comes to using these devices, and once we have a class and they get comfortable using them, they are so happy and just ecstatic that someone has taken the time to show them some attention and make sure that they're comfortable using these devices.
Now, as far as the classes go, they are very, very helpful for us to, just like children, to learn. It helps you to understand things and move your knowledge further. The first time I came, it was exciting, still kind of nervous, you know, like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then, as I continued to come, it got more exciting. We got certificate, and that motivated me more.
With our youth, we do a lot of coding activities. We work with Northwestern University, we work with Microsoft, we work with Google. We actually took our youth on a tour of Microsoft this summer, and they were very excited. We use programs working with the drones and teaching them how to develop their skills, building bridge, and it's very exciting just to watch their faces when we go through these exercises and they complete a task and see the results.
I learned how to code, work on the computer, I learned how to turn it on, play on it, and all type of stuff. I want to use computers when I get older so I can do like in high school so I can get my education, right? And at the high school I still want to use a computer so I can graduate high school and then go to college, then get a degree.
So this year, CHA completed an application to become a part of an organization called Connect Home USA. The organization will assist CHA in providing residents with digital devices, training, and educational support. So CHA will participate in this organization for 3 years. It's a 3-year commitment, and after that we'll become a legacy agency. And being a cohort, they'll connect us to some of the same resources that they have. So a lot of the work we're doing already, but now we'll have access to more partners, access to more partners that can help us with training. So it just opened up a whole opportunity that we didn't have before.
Hello everyone, I'm Lori Lightfoot, Mayor of Chicago. I want all Chicagoans to receive the support and resources that they need. That's why I'm making sure that everyone living in our city is counted in the 2020 census next April. So I'm going to count on you for your help. Our count determines representation in Congress, along with funding that we need for schools, roads, libraries, and a whole lot more. I've been working with community partners and mayors across the country to ensure that the census is safe, easy, and fair for all. That means the 2020 census will not include a citizenship question, and your confidential responses are protected by law. I want you to know that the census is safe, easy, and critically important to the future of our city. Our city is stronger when we are all counted. In 2020, make yourself count. Thank you very much.
Our 2019 CHA Operation Warm event is our 12th annual event. We're giving away 7,500 coats. We've got a service fair with 30 vendors. Brand new winter coats for public housing youth that live throughout the city of Chicago.
So this event is the single largest event that Operation Warm does every year. We provide coats to kids in 47 states and a couple of provinces in Canada. Last year, 405,000 children received one of our coats, but the single largest event that takes place on one day is this partnership with the CHA.
I'm pretty much getting clothes from my family for the winter so we could be prepared. I like that it's pink and it looks very colorful.
It'll be useful for winter and stuff, you know. And I like how they got the texture of the coat. Like, it feels like it's waterproof at the same time. But, you know, it's real comfortable.
This is amazing. This is amazing that so many families would get up on a Saturday and come out and make sure that they have what they need to get through the winter. It's amazing, but it's also a challenge to know that the needs are great, and so we can't just do it by ourselves. And so that's why the sponsors that we have to be able to bring together all the things that we couldn't do by ourselves.
This event is the bomb. This gives you a boost of flavor and a boost of energy. So I look forward to coming here every year. And I have a ball. It's a blast.
Well, this is important because the senior community is the cornerstone of our population. So we think it's important to celebrate the senior population throughout the year, but more importantly have this one event that's pretty much our signature event that celebrates them and gives them an opportunity to come out to dine and commune with each other.
This is a major deal. I mean, how can seniors get together and enjoy themselves in a clean, safe atmosphere with some of the greatest people in the world, being sponsored by some of the greatest sponsors you could ever have? CHA and Comcast? Yeah! What can I say? Where can you be alive at 75?
Well, I like dressing for occasions, and I'm a red hatter, and you know we're a little crazy if you know anything about red hatters. So when they say Roaring 20s, it just fit right into what I like to do.
We got here, it was a beautiful place to come to. The music is great, the food is great, and everyone's been very kind to us. We've had a wonderful time.
It is so important that CHA put resources towards seniors because we're aging every single day. So the importance of being able to age in place and being able to enjoy what's around you is critical. And so being able to be devoted to that is important and a mission of CHA.
Sweetwater Foundation, we've been repurposing different wood materials from the CPS schools that closed. We turn it into different arts and sculptures.
It makes me proud to know I could, actually put something together that I've never done before.
So I'm learning how to, the basics of writing a script in a movie, and pretty much how to build up character, like character development and plot, story, how to keep audiences interested in watching the movie.
Favorite part of the program, being able to write my own script and just being able to see my own work on paper. It feels great. It feels like I've achieved something good, and, it makes me feel happy. I've been very interested since a child in creating my own video game, always, right? And then the fact that I can just do this, and how he teaches it is just so simple,
I learned about Photoshop, which was really cool. It's different when you see on computers. You're like, oh, this is good. But when you actually print it, it just be like, dang, I really just did this. You can look on the poster boards, for example, anywhere. And you're like, okay, I can make something similar to this because I did it. So it just it feels really amazing.
We're really excited to be able to bring a couple dozen colleges to our Summer Youth Employment Program students. So these are students between the age of 18 and 24 who have a summer job with us through the Mayor's Summer Job Program. And we wanted to make sure that as they consider ending their employment with Summer Youth Employment, that they think about their next steps, whether that be college or career.
The type of things that I'm learning are how to make a film come together, whether that's editing or filming and getting interviews together and learning to meet people and how to set up to make a film and working with others as well. It feels good. It makes me feel like I accomplished something or I did something that I never thought I'd be able to do. This is the best thing I ever did out of all summer programs that I ever did in my whole life.
Today we had our 9th annual Take Flight College Reception celebrating 175 CHA youth heading off to over 50 colleges and universities throughout the country.
I'm really grateful for the event because I need a lot of stuff that I didn't have. I got some towels, a desk lamp, some laundry detergent. I needed everything, so I was really grateful for it.
CHA has helped me with scholarships. They've helped me motivate me with networking and with programs. At the time, I thought I was going to be in the medical field. Grant is one of the people that have helped me stay on track for college.
Oh, they gave really good advice, be open, because I'm really introverted, so I'm going to be joining clubs,
Means that the world is yours, and you're going to be given a view of that. And so just be open to it. Be open to new things, new experiences, new people, new subject matters. Be open.
So be fearless. Don't let anyone steal your shine from you. This is your moment. You earned it. Be fearless.
The event today is a unique opportunity for our CHA bigs and our littles to coexist with people that are very successful in many different categories. We have so many different people from diverse backgrounds. If they're entrepreneurship or finance or in government sector, they can really see that there are so many different paths that they can go down, even if they never even thought about it.
Talking about career advancement is really important because the students are at an age where that's appropriate. So they're starting to think about these things, and so we have a wide variety of individuals in different sectors. So it piques any student's interest in what they may potentially want to do post high school.
My big thing I want them to take away, there are people out here that are willing to help you. All we need you to do is stand up and say you want it. We're here for you. Coming from the housing complex and living there my entire life, so it's really dear to my heart.
Happy New Year from CHA. My name is Cassie Brooks, and I'm the Assistant Director of Education for the Chicago Housing Authority. We recently sent a postcard out to homes with a member between the ages of 17 and 19 to remind you about two of our financial aid opportunities for CHA residents seeking to attend college. The first is our CHA Scholarship. CHA will be providing over 250 awards of $1,000 to support residents at the school of their choice. Residents can apply online at thecha.org/education. Scholarship application opens January 14th and closes May 14th. Awards are decided over the summer and checks are issued for the fall. Otherwise, if you're planning to attend City Colleges of Chicago, you actually don't need to complete the CHA Scholarship. And that's because CHA has a partnership called the Partners in Education that provides more support to our residents. Simply come to an info session to learn more. Residents can receive vouchers for tuition, books, and fees after financial aid is applied. Please find more information at thecha.org/education.
I'm extremely proud to announce CHA is receiving $2.8 million. $2.8 million in Jobs Plus funding right here in the city of Chicago to the Chicago Housing Authority. That's going to leverage an additional $4.4 million in local investments.
The program's specialty is developing locally based, job-driven approaches to increasing earnings, advancing employment outcomes through employer linkage, job placement, educational advancement, technological skills, and financial literacy. What it means is that soon, no one will be more qualified for jobs in the community than residents of Dearborn, the people right here in this community.
So with the partnership, we focus on high growth, high demand jobs. We connect with employer partners, and we make sure those employer partners understand that our communities, that our public housing developments are filled with people who have untapped talent and untapped potential.
Sometimes as a direct service
Ready to start the second portion of our business section. The board secretary will now do the roll call.
Commissioner Brewer,
Here.
Commissioner Chico,
Here.
Commissioner Harris,
Here.
Commissioner Hart,
Here.
Commissioner Matanki, Commissioner Parker,
Here.
Commissioner Tanukas,
Here.
Commissioner Washington,
Here.
Commissioner Hurlock.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Lee. At this time, I would like to present a motion for the approval of the minutes for the regular and closed meetings of January 21st and 21st on 2020. May I have a motion to approve those meeting minutes?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed votes, recusals, or abstentions? Okay, hearing none, the minutes are hereby approved as submitted. During the closed session, commissioners discussed items number 15, recommendations to approve the amended rules of boards of commissioners. At this time, I would like to make a motion to postpone the voting of item number 15 to the May 19th board meeting. Is there a second?
Second. So move.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals? Hearing none, item number 15 will be postponed to and presented at the May 19th board meeting. Also discussed in closed session were items number 16, personal actions, and items number 18, delegation of authority. Cheryl Colston, our Chief Legal Officer, will provide us with an overview of item number 18, the delegation of authority by the board to ensure continuity of the CHA operations.
As a result of the recent state of emergency caused by COVID-19 and Executive Orders 2020-07 and 2020-10, signed by Governor Pritzker, all public bodies have been encouraged to reduce activities and workforce to essential operations, which CHA has done. In compliance with the executive orders and to ensure continuity of CHA operations so that our CHA families can continue to receive essential services, we deem it prudent to delegate authority to the CEO or acting CEO to execute contracts in excess of the limits specified under the CHA bylaws and to take other such actions, including creating and establishing policies necessary and/or appropriate without board approval. This delegated authority is temporary, shall no longer be in effect upon the CHA's recommencement of normal daily business functions, and would be exercised only upon consultation with the CHA board chairperson and/or the vice chairperson. We ask, therefore, that you adopt this resolution delegating authority to the CEO or acting CEO to ensure continuity of CHA operations in response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
So moved.
Okay, were there any questions? Okay. All right, barring any other questions, we have a motion by Commissioner Washington. Do we have a second? Second. Okay. Hearing none, an omnibus motion to approve item number 16. I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Hearing none, the motion carries, and resolutions for items both 16 and 18 are approved. Okay. As you may recall, at my very first board meeting, I mentioned to you that the board was collaborating with Mayor.
All in favor?
I'm so sorry. Please excuse me. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, are there any opposed, recusals, abstentions? Okay, the vote passes. Thank you guys so much. All right, as you may recall, in my very first board meeting, I mentioned that, to you that the board was collaborating with Mayor Lightfoot in the selection of our new CEO, which is our Chief Executive Officer. A couple of weeks ago, Mayor Lightfoot did announce the nomination of Tracy Scott to serve as the new CEO of the CHA effective May 1st. The last item to come up for vote for the board today is the item number 17, appointment, authority, and delegation of signature authority of Chief Executive Officer Tracy Scott. As CEO, Ms. Scott will leverage her more than 2 decades of experience to lead the CHA into its next chapter as a principal developer and provider of affordable housing for communities all across Chicago, a critical component of the mayor's work to improve the housing ecosystem in Chicago. May I have a motion for the approval of item number 17, appointment authority and delegation of signature authority of Chief Executive Officer Tracy Scott.
So moved. So moved.
I don't even know who moved first, but okay, is there a second?
Harris.
Okay, Dr. Harris moved first. Seniority, right?
Second. Moved.
Second.
All right, so then we have a moved and a motion and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals? Hearing none, the motion carries and the resolution approving the appointment of Tracy Scott as Chief Executive Officer is unanimously approved. Just a little more background on Ms. Scott. She has over 25 years of progressive leadership experience working to expand access to housing for low-income families across the country. Ms. Scott has served as the interim executive director and CEO for the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority and has held prior senior roles with Atlanta Housing Authority. Now, I'm sure that Tracy will continue to draw on her experience from Minneapolis and Atlanta to foster public and private partnerships at the CHA in order to invest in new housing developments and opportunities throughout the city, maintain our relationships with federal regulators, and align the agency to better serve the residents of the city. I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity out to just thank our acting CEO, James Beverly, for stepping up during this time of challenging transitional period. I want to say a personal thank you to Mr. Beverly because he has really been of great support to me coming on as a new board chair, but I think he's given calm, resolute, conservative leadership to this organization in a time when we needed it. And so from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for your commitment to CHA.
I second that. Beautiful.
James will stay on as the Chief Operating Officer, and I'm sure together with Tracy, James will continue to build stronger communities by advancing the city's goal of affordable housing for all residents of Chicago. Now, Ms. Scott has joined us telephonically, and on behalf of the CHA board, residents, and staff, congratulations and welcome to CHA, Tracy. If you have a few words, we'd love to hear from you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, and thank you for the enthusiastic first and seconds on the motion. I hope to get that enthusiasm throughout my time with you. I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot, certainly for the nomination, and also a special thanks to Chair Herlock and Vice Chair Chico and the entire Board of Commissioners. I am truly honored to accept this appointment. I'm reminded that in the midst of this global pandemic, when we're asking everybody to stay home, that our mission is that much more important. The need for decent and safe housing and more of that in the city is certainly a priority for all of us. We're also, in this time, really seeing the communities come together and focusing on what's essential. And housing is essential. But it's also essential that we're caring for each other and that we are giving attention to the residents in our communities, especially during this time, but always. That is our mission. So I really look forward to collaborating with the city, with our community partners, and our residents, because CHA can be this foundation upon which families can build and realize their dreams. And that's what most excites me, the opportunity to have an impact on people's lives. So I'm really excited about the possibilities and working with the CHA staff and James and others to make that happen. So I really thank you for this opportunity, and certainly would be willing to answer any questions if there are for me at this time.
Any questions, Commissioner?
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, yes. Commissioner Parker?
You ready, right? Ms. Scott, is you ready?
She says she hopes so.
Oh, okay. See you in May.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, congratulations again, Tracy. Thank you for attending today's.
Brewer.
Okay, Commissioner Brewer.
Sorry, I just wanted to say welcome. We're very happy to have you. I've got a chance to talk with you a couple times, but I'm really excited for what you're going to bring to the organization. And also wanted to echo everything our chairwoman said with respect to James. There's a lot of potential for things to go wrong or to fall apart, just given all the transitions that happened during that time. and the stabilizing force and the presence and the leadership was much appreciated. So thank you.
Absolutely.
I second that.
I would like to say, this is Commissioner Harris. I would just like to say that to you, Tracy, that you already know that the quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence. And I just want to say that having been with you the short time that I was, that I attested you are truly a woman of excellence, and that you will bring much to the Chicago Housing Authority. Also, I'd like to share with Mr. Beverly that we just really appreciate you and all that you've done and you will continue to do, along with our chairperson, who is truly an awesome woman of God. But I want to add this, too, that the test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much, but it is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. And so we are here to help those of the lower income households to have a healthy, vibrant, and safe community by which they can live. And we know that under your leadership that those goals shall be fulfilled. Congratulations, and God bless you.
Madam Chair, may I?
Thank you so much.
Tracy, I've had the pleasure of meeting with you only once, and let me say the first impression was pretty amazing. So I'm really looking forward to working with you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and to my friend now, Mr. Beverly, your accomplishments here and your commitment here are too numerous to count. But I'd like to say on behalf of the CHA board, if I may, to my colleagues, thank you so much for your heart, your commitment, your mind, your soul. I know how you grew up, and I know this mission has had a special place for you, but I don't believe you can do this job the way you did it unless you really feel for what you're trying to accomplish. You've been very impactful. I hope you will remain as long as we can have you, and the combination of you and Tracy will continue to move this place forward and help the people who need it most and help everyone in their lives as it relates to housing and others. Thank you so much, James, my friend.
Thank you. We have a round of applause, actually,
Excuse
for
me.
our outgoing acting CEO, James Beverly.
Excuse me.
Yes, Commissioner
Miss
Washington.
Mr. Beverly, one thing I can say is thank you. And I'd like for you to have been the CEO position, not Chief of Staff is just as good. At least you're still here. And I hope that you and CEO Scott get together, because I spoke to her briefly. She had a lot of good ideas. You have a lot of good ideas. Like I told you, I'm telling her, if y'all had to wait and see, if both y'all get together, put y'all heads together, maybe something happen for us, the residents. I'm sorry, I'm just frustrated as a resident. I'm waiting for somebody to do something for us. I thought I could make a difference, but so far, I'm just taking up space.
Not true.
No, I'm taking up space because I have to wait and see.
You're getting
And
that-
welcome, CEO Scott. I'm going to wait and see.
Well, we congratulate you again, Tracy. As you can see, lots of work to be done. We're excited to have you. You have a great group here who's willing to work and lay down the work. So thank you again for attending today's meeting, and we look forward to you returning.
Thank you for having me.
When
Look
do you
forward
move
to
to town?
As soon as I can get there with the restrictions.
Okay. And then Commissioner Parker had one more thing she wanted to share.
Besides being ready, I'm like Dr. Harris. When I met you, Scott, I felt your warmth. I felt your love. I felt your need to make a difference here in Chicago. So I look forward to actually working with you. And to our acting CEO, I just thank you for leading the ship, because when we were losing folks and people were walking away, you stood strong and you made us feel confident that CHA was going to keep going forward and we wasn't going to miss a beat. And I think we advanced, actually. And so I'm just thankful for your leadership and look forward to your continued work here at the Housing Authority with your legal mind and your, aggression.
Madam Chair, one more thing. I believe there's anyone else on the phone want to say something? I think I heard someone.
Hi, yes, Commissioner Hart. I wanted to say welcome to Tracy Scott as the new CEO. Wherever we can be helpful from the board for your work here and getting up to speed, and anything we can do to be supportive, please consider the board as a support to you. And then I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Bebley, because during this time he weathered some significant storms with us in the work at CHA, but also in sort of figuring out the new path that the mayor wanted to go on for Chicago, and then dealing with this global pandemic and how it impacts our residents. And so, and in addition to that, he also weathered the storm of the board, who sometimes respectfully disagree, but he was always a good partner to figure out how to move us forward. And so I really appreciate the work that you've done, James. I hope that this is a good team with the new CEO and you as we move forward, and that you continue to work with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there is no more business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you all for participating in today's meetings and proceedings. As a reminder, the next board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 19th. May you all stay safe and be well. The meeting of March 30th is now adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.